cleanup is on the way. We are retrieving things from over there, and finally this box will also disappear. There's also a pipe that we can recover, and I just added a power line up there. It's not the perfect combination because it's together with the Ethernet cable, but as this is low power, I think the interference will be minimal. And this is not high data, it's just that one camera. And in a moment we make a little trench here, a very small one, just a few scratches with the backhoe, and then this cable goes into the chicken coop, and finally I can have a light in there. Not because we want to run it 14 hours a day and make the chicken lay more eggs, no, but just to have it. It also has 2 outlets that we can plug in whatever we want, and that way we can do things. I have a Wi-Fi controlled light bulb that I can install, and there's also a Wi-Fi camera in there, but it needs a USB power connector or power supply, to put it this way, and those outlets happen to have those, so I can do several things at the same time. It's a simple cable that only has 2 wires in it, so no ground, and that should do in this case. Of course it would be better to have it grounded, but for this application it should be okay. Thing is, light bulbs don't have a ground wire usually. Little trench, and that way the 2 cables, one is for the fence and the other one is the electric cable, will go back into this little trench, and then the job is almost done. It is a little bit a chilly morning. It's not very early either, but you can see how everybody looks like, and I don't have a lot of interest in doing things at the moment. And I have the cat food here. I will go over there and provide the food to the cat and let the chickens out. And I can also show you what else we did. Now, this is always a difficult thing when you have one hand occupied with a camera. Okay, so first let's provide this to Mr. Cat. Here he comes, and then I show you. And by the way, I did cut this down because the chicken won't eat it, and that will add something to the biomass that we need. I'm a bit distracted because he always likes to be between my legs. Apparently that is a cat's way of saying hello. So it's a bit difficult to walk here. The terrain and Mr. Cat. So let's give him the food. So there we are. And now I can let the chicken out. The horses are playing, they're running around, which is okay. The temperature is a bit chilly, but it is sunny, and when you do something like running around, it certainly is very beautiful and nice. So here is something that we finished. So you might remember that we dug a little trench so that I can put in the electric cable, and we also discovered that we had buried another cable, which is currently loose, but here on this end it's attached. So this is for the fence. This is not very beautiful, but it doesn't have to be. We also removed some of the material here from the area where the door is, so that the door can actually be opened on both sides. The rain and natural processes will take care of leveling this out. So let me take care of this. Now that I have electricity in here, let me show you. So there is the cable, and it goes in there, and here we have a box, and there's two outlets in there, and there is a USB port. So I think I can open this and show you. So this is how it looks like, and up there is a small camera that gets power via USB and is Wi-Fi, and that way we see what's going on in here. Yeah, there's already one egg, but I leave this for the moment. See how their water looks like. Okay, there is still plenty. They are good with their feet. They should eat insects. That is what chicken are supposed to eat, which is why I cut down those grasses, because they only eat the grasses when there's nothing else. And as there is something else, they hunt for bugs. And you see, they run always over there, because apparently there's a patch where there's more bugs. So, now they're nowhere to be seen. Somewhere there behind the fence on the left. And I will now go over there and continue with my cutting to make more grass. I am being greeted by these two as well. They look for new grass. And unfortunately, I can't let them go there where there is grass. I have to cut it instead of allowing them to do this for me, because the seeing one would be able to help me, but the blind one would destroy everything else. So this is a bit unfortunate. And as you can see, they want to go there. Yeah, you see, there are the little problems. But they are not starving by any means. Well, you see, she is trying to find out where to go. But things are emerging rapidly, so that's not a problem. But of course, when you see a lot of food, you want to go there. So here they are. That is where they ran to. So there are more bugs in this area, apparently. And I think it helped that I cut down the vetiver. My plan has always been to do this at the beginning of autumn, because the temperatures will go low, it won't grow, but that way the plant material helps the soil, and then in spring it comes back stronger. Oh, strong. Whether it's stronger, I'm not really sure. The younger vetiver here on the left I will not touch, so that this can stay long and is visible. But next year this is then also for cutting. It is a real shame that I can't let these two horses in here. because it's a lot of food. But then this food feeds the soil and makes more food. And there are also some mushrooms that show up. Of course, they also get destroyed by this machine here. But it's all for the good of the soil. So it's not wrong. And very soon, and let's say 3-4 weeks, the grasses will be the same height as you see on the right. You can clearly see that the chicken is a forest animal. That's why they are where they are. There is some protection from these trees. Now once we have more trees, chicken will be even more happier. And here in this area there will certainly be more trees. I think we will also set a bunch of palovnia trees here, because they are so fast growing that they will help us to achieve the goal of shade, and much quicker than any other plant. And we can cut them down at some point and replace them with something that grows slower, but we have an improvement. So I think we will set a bunch of palovnias here. I wanted to do this, but then the irrigation wasn't there and other factors. But this spring, I think, we can do something here in this area. I believe this is coming along very nicely. I just cut the bottom of this small swale here, and it is pretty thick. And that means there's a lot of biomass where water can soak into and stay for longer. This does fill when there is heavy rainfall. And of course over there it is much shallower and higher. So this is not a deep swale there. But here it is. And then it extends into this pond-like area. And when there is a lot of rain, we do have a lake. So if you look up some older videos, you will certainly see this. So this will all be submerged at some point. And I'm now going to continue with my cutting here on the berm between the two swales. There's also some plants that I don't want, like this one. And generally the idea is to get a lot of grasses going in here, and then when the soil is covered by grasses, it should be a nice thing to do to set new trees. And like I said, my thought is start with palovnia because they are easily available. They grow fast, they provide shade, and then it should be easier to set additional trees, fruit trees and such, amongst them. And when there is ever something coming up new, like this little oak here, there it is. I need to mark it, I think, but right now it sits in an open area and I can remember where it is, but it's me, so if someone else comes here and helps, they might not know. The chicken continue to forage for bugs here in this area, so this is very good. I'm a little bit worried that they might be in danger of an aerial attack, but as long as they stay close to these trees here, it's not a problem, because there the aerial predators cannot approach and depart with their prey. Most of them are like that. And Mr. Cat also wants to join here. Yeah, you can see how he sinks in. This is all the cut down grass that creates some sort of a mat. I heard someone saying chicken don't like tall grass. And makes sense, because they're not eating the grass, they're looking for the bugs. And therefore, an area like this is more interesting to them. And I think that's also why a chicken tractor does not really work unless you provide additional feed. They will munch on the grass and fertilize and all this, but they will only do this when the bugs are out, and then get feed from the commercial feed that you provide them. So they probably do more scratching and trampling than eating the grass. But it still works, and you get eggs. Those green sprouts, the green leaves that are sticking up, that is garlic. It is coming back. There is a little patch here, and it extends a little bit there to the other side. I see one lurking there, out to the right. So this is also very positive. No need to be cutting here. This needs its leaves to grow. It's not a grass. And it should help those trees. So I think probably it repels any mice that want to come in there. Not sure if we have them, but there is a type of mice that likes to go for the roots of a tree and kill it. So that garlic prevents that apparently. But again, I'm not sure if we really do have this problem here. But it was an experiment, and we had some garlic from the supermarket, and we planted it here just to try. And it's now the second time that I see it, that it comes back. And here you can see why I can't let the horses in here. So there it is halfway open, because Sakahawea ran against it, didn't know how to get out, and that is then the result. So I guess we need to close this area there. We have it closed here on the other side, so by now they should know that they can't go to this other area, which is basically now forest until we repair the fence there. But this is not how it is supposed to be, and of course a horse that is frightened and tries to get out because it gets entangled in all this stuff also will destroy the drip irrigation line here. Thankfully this part is the end already, so this is the problem. When you have a blind horse, you need another type of fence. And here I ran out of battery, second time now, so that means I've worked almost 2 hours here. I will let it be for the moment. For this I also need the knife that cuts through this, but also I need to get this fence out of the way. But then the grasses here are not that tall, so. But cutting all this away and basically chop it is helpful, so that sunlight gets to the ground and then the grasses will emerge much better. So here I still have some work to do until I meet the place where I was, because all this should be nice and green, and then we can plant things here in spring. So basically the idea is to use the rainfall now over autumn and winter to get this area filled with more biomass and make soil, and then set palovnia trees, which we will then thin out later on. It's again biomass, and then we can put fruit trees in between them, and the palovnias should provide shade. So this is interesting. I think this wanted to become an apple. So it looks like, yeah. Or it might also be a pear. Not sure. But it is definitely a fruit. Which makes this a fruit tree. Just as I was talking about. I think this is not an apple, this is a pear. Oh, it is round. So it could have been an apple. I think it's an apple. First time that this little guy is trying to produce something. The kinch over there is full. Looks a little bit ruffled and feathered. But it does exist. They are not thriving because there was this frost in early May. And you can still see the effect of that. So there was frost, then a lot of rain. And yeah, that set them back. So this fence here is now a major problem. We should probably do it again and in the right way. And I am thinking when we are in a position for this, that we can also get some help, some outside help, either hired help or volunteers who like to do this, and then basically define a few projects clearly well defined, where all the material is there on hand and the tools and instructions how to do things, and then we get a new area here. I think for the time being, and we do have this material, it appears it wants to rain, so it's also a good point in time to get out of here, but we do have the material for that, so we can definitely close this here, and then there will be no more problem. But then you see, last time I was here, that was not the case. So you see, there she ran against this fence post that had a lot of things attached to it, and also broke as a consequence that door. So now in theory a seeing horse can come in here. So it's another problem. So we definitely need to fix our fencing problem and remove this obstacle course here. And also emptied all those buckets. They contain human manure, and they should go over there to help decompose the remnants that you can see there. That is the place where we always placed animals that died on us, and therefore the nutrients stay here instead of being incinerated somewhere else. So this is a place where we need to do some things.